All right, all right. We're gonna have a packed full show today. We're starting a little bit early. Hold on a second.
Sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
By the way, I put in seeing eye dog discrimination, Biden, and Tay Anderson. With the school board.
Tay Anderson's back
Yeah.
in.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. You ought to see how much the Denver school board paid to get him elected, and maybe they knew he was a molester. Maybe they didn't know, or maybe that was just the way they roll.
I wonder if that's pronounced Tay Anderson or Ty Anderson. Anyway,
Tay.
Is it Tay?
Yeah, Tay. Wait a minute. Let me. Wait, okay. Let me get our announcer up here.
Back from the dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. There we go. Let's put it on man here.
Oh man.
God.
Here he is. The late, the great.
Here we go.
James Brown.
This is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
All right.
Thank you, James Brown.
And I'd like to welcome to the show. I see Sage is there. Sage Robinson. She's in the house. And
good evening to you.
and I've learned how to put the title of the show in all of the streams, so everybody knows exactly what loosely shaped are the topics tonight. But before we get to our first three topics, you were telling me about this guy, and I listened to him yesterday about the I guess his vision impaired, and he's been writing 150 letters to members of Congress and Washington about raising the revenue for, is it blind people, or is it, what was the gist of it that you got?
So basically, this guy is what he terms himself as a advocate for those that are disabled, that might be collecting Social Security, whether it be SSI, whether it be SSDI, whether it be retired folks, whether it be folks that are any sort of low income, even no income. So, he kind of tries to help advocate for anybody in that tax bracket, so to speak. He's blind himself, and he's known as, well, I just know him as Matt. He's not a friend of mine by any stretch of the imagination, but I did find him on YouTube, and you can find him too by visiting Blind to Billionaire. So if you just go ahead and do a search that way, you'll find about a year's worth of his work that he's trying to do and things like that. I can't say as I agree with constant stimulus monies and constant bailouts and handouts, but hey, yeah, I mean, that's his shtick. And he did have some good, valid points. And so he put together about 150 letters to Congress, different members of Congress and other elected officials, and has started sending them out, urging them to go ahead and pass a fourth stimulus check in the amount of $1,400, possible other monies as well, like $600 per month that would be extended out through the end of the year.
I mean, that would destroy the economy.
Our economy is already hyperinflated as it is. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Did you leave any comments underneath his? I mean, maybe he's seeing it from a different point of view, and maybe you could show him another point of view.
Well, I did. I've left numerous comments on his threads over the year or so that I've been following him. Everything from, everything from, I understand where you're coming from with regard to the need for the stimulus initially to, well, this is really hyperinflated our economy, and there's way too much out there now, but get what you can, while you can, when you can, or whatever like this. But then on the other hand, let's see, the most previous one that I think that I put there, because our current president is the most popular president. Why, if he wants to increase his popularity and also increase his voter base, why he might theoretically do well to at least look at shoring up some things with regard to low income. That is just the bottom line, especially for those that are on a fixed income and make less than $40,000 a year on Social Security, disability, retirement, or other fixed incomes like that. At least that's the given thought. Now, I myself am, well, honestly, I'm of a mind, if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So I'm kind of on the other side of it, but I do respect where he's coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, to hear a different opinion. I thought he was kind of low because he was at like 1,075 a month for vision impairment. I said, oh yeah,
right. That is something
that's if you're living on Section 8.
Yeah. Well, he did bring up something that is valid, at least according to the great Alan Colvin here, and that is to go ahead and at least increase the folks that are on subsidized living, increase their benefits to at least match the federal poverty limit of 1,075. 1,075. What is it, a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it works out to be just about 12,000 a year. Wow.
A little, yes, a little bit, give or take a few. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of interesting too. I mean, for the elderly, as food prices go up, and then like you said, something about a $200 raise in the food stamp program.
Now that's something that he wants to increase forever. He wants to see that increase take hold and everybody get a certain allotment. And he would like that, if I understand correctly, that to be right around what the current emergency pandemic food stamp allotment is. But as the prices begin to double, triple, and exponentially increase with regard to inflation, because so many people are on the dole, so to speak. Nobody wants to work. There are 9 million jobs plus that are open without being filled. It's going to be a big fat mess unless people get back to work. At least that's my way of thinking.
Do you know what I heard? I heard like these food pantries that help feed like people and stuff like that. They used to I guess spend $1 million a year. And I don't know if I got this right, but they said now they're spending $1 million a month. And I said, wow. I mean, if I heard it right, I think it there. I heard that $1 million, whenever I hear a million, my my brain goes Google. But wow, $1 million a month, from $1 million a year to $1 million a month. So I mean, there's a lot of people out there that and we need to get back to learning how to. I know a lot of us live in apartments in the city and stuff like that, but learning how to plant our own little back garden. And there's even a way you can do gardening. And we're going to have her on the show. I have a friend that she teaches like how to gardening in your apartment.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Do that. So we're going to have her on the show. I had her on one of my other shows, but we're gonna bring her back because I said, man, we're going to be able to do this in our own apartments and at least provide vegetables for ourselves. Now, as far as like going out and hunting for little rabbits and whatever else, that's going to be kind of interesting. We may have to go a little bit more out in the forest for that. But if you join us, we're talking is Innervision FM. We have some fun well, no, I don't know about fun topics, but interesting topics tonight. Which one should we hit? Should we hit Biden or discriminating against seeing eye dog?
Well, that is up to you, my brother. You're the boss.
Well,
They're both equally interesting in their own right and in their own way. You've got Biden, who has decided to go ahead and pass an anti-terrorism bill, or at least try to get something rolling anyway. I don't think I'll have to double check on some of this stuff. But
what I understand, his idea of it as a terrorist is a Trump supporter.
yeah, any domestic terrorist
come on.
that is conservative, why, if he's a Trump supporter, he's a terrorist, or she's a Trump supporter, she's a terrorist, or so we'll have to see how all that shakes out.
And if she's unarmed, climbing through a window, she should be shot in the neck. Right.
And that's okay. Just cover that on up, and don't worry about that. But hey, but take the police and just go ahead and weaponize them against the American people. Hey, it's okay.
Oh, by the way, Brad, so we're competing with Diamond and Silk. They just went online, but don't leave us. Stay right here. I know Diamond and Silk are big stars, but hey, we're just, we're trying to climb up the ladder as well. So stay here.
Right. That's right. But we do have interesting stuff here. I guess there's a lady that went to a doctor's appointment, I guess this morning or something, and she ended up getting tossed out. Something to do with her guide dog or something kind of precluded her from getting service. It's something sort of new that I've heard of, especially from a doctor's office. And I'm sure it'll get all straightened out. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding.
Was that here in Colorado or was that somewhere else?
Yeah, that's right in your stomping grounds, your neck of the woods, probably somewhere in Denver, somewhere Aurora.
That's wild.
I went ahead and tossed her a message to see if she would join us, and she may on some upcoming shows. But like I say, I'm sure it's probably just a misunderstanding, and she's got very good representation through the National Federation of the Blind, which is the largest consumer group of blind folk in the nation. And so they help to craft legislation to what it would shape our laws that help us, to achieve the accessibility that we require as folks who do happen to be disabled. Of course, the philosophy being, with the average skills and the average techniques and the average this and the average that and the other, why we're just like y'all's. We're just a cross section of society, and why, we're just like y'all's. We just got we do a few things different because we can't see.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to our VP is in the house, Mr. Sir Van Pelt, and so just want to give a shout out to it. So hey there. So if you want to drop in a word or two, you can.
Yeah, drop a word or two. What do you think about this, man?
I had to see if I got my mic unmuted.
Yeah.
I guess. Hi there. No,
hey.
I was interested about that topic that you posted about the blind dog discrimination. I wasn't sure if they were discriminating against the dog or the dog owner. And it sounds like there was more about, the dog being with the owner was an issue. So it sounds like I hadn't heard about that, but I think it would be obvious it's not a pet. I would think that the dog is clearly, a helper dog. So I don't know why they would have said, goodbye to them.
Here's some interesting thoughts on that. In today's era of hyperscience belief structures and things like this, why, it could be thought that, there might be folks that might come in later with some hypersensitivity to the animal, and why, since they do have to serve all clientele, even though there is a law that says why you've got to let people in with service animals, they're kind of stuck. They're kind of in a quandary because why they don't want to jeopardize somebody with hypersensitivity to a canine who might come in late.
Got to tell you this story. Back in 1981, my friend Wayne, this is like in the early days, and I don't know, before the ADA and all that kind of stuff. So he went into a McDonald's, and they didn't want they kicked him out of McDonald's. So of course he sued and he won, but that was before then. And in California, it was so funny. We were sitting in a 7-Eleven and we had our white and red canes, and people actually asked us, are we going to go to a pool tournament? Back in the 80s,
I've had
right?
that happen. I've had that happen.
So in California, I don't know. I know, well, we're not that big of a population of blind. I mean, because I've had people like, I was looking for a job at this radio station. I was in Riverside, California, and the radio station was down this country road, trees left and right. Get to the corner store, this little store, then you turn left, and then you go on the highway, and then you then across the street is the radio station off the highway. I had somebody stop and said, "Hey, are you going fishing? It's pretty good out."
Oh, that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
So I don't know if in the 80s, this they can imagine like a blind person. Why would a blind person be on the side of a highway looking for a radio station? I said, "No, I'm looking for the radio station," and they directed me because my vision was kind of like limited as where I could see sort of like buildings, but I couldn't see addresses on them. But I just one of those little adventures where my cane was mistaken as a
Fishing pole.
Fishing pole. So who knows? I mean, maybe
Well, you probably smelled fishy. I don't know.
That's very funny.
So, but I think moving forward to today's era, you hear all these people with their support animals on a plane, and they're bringing ponies and turkeys and penguins. You just wonder if people are thinking, well, that's not a dog helping a blind person. That's an emotional support dog. And we're tired of all these support animals everywhere. So just go take your support animal and go.
Yeah. And I heard they started to limit that on airplanes.
Yeah. They've limited it to dogs now.
Yeah. So pretty interesting. I mean, well,
and I don't know if they're, do the dogs have special notices on them as to what kind of support they're providing?
Yes. Yeah, they should. In fact, the owner, or the handler, whatever you want to call them. I used to be a dog owner once. No. But the handler basically are supposed to carry a little book from whatever school that they, might go to. And it's not like they're supposed to carry it. It's just one of these deals where you get handed a book and you can show it to them and just sort of educate them. Sometimes they just don't want to hear any of that, and they just go ahead and toss you out on your ear, and you go ahead and you kind of educate them later. And oftentimes everything works out just fine to where where everything works out. But every so often this does crop up.
I gotta ask the audience. Okay, the audience for comments later on. If you know anybody that's visually impaired, if you have seen blind people, and and you can't understand how not everybody would know, leave your comments below. And and like I said, there might be people living out in the rural. It's not like they show blind people every day on TV, so leave your comments below.
Right.
So
I have to say, as a sighted person, I have a friend who's blind, and and there's times when I've been out with you, and someone will escort you to a room, like a bathroom or something, and they will say, "Here, let me turn the light on for you."
Oh, let me turn the light on. That's one of my favorite ones.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, that is, I guess that is pretty interesting. I just, people say that, and I just don't. I think about it, but then I don't think about it.
Right. Yeah, you don't really listen to that.
Oh man. So I guess maybe if you've never been around like blind people, you just don't know. And of course, that brings me up to the movie Even Me, which we're gonna be putting out there like in the general public here eventually here. I decided to get captioning underneath it, and I'm still debating about the audio description part. And I'm still thinking about remaking that movie with today's blind people. And I will find blind people and disabled people to be in today's movie, because I know there must be kids in school that are still that are acting and stuff like that, and they would love to do something like that. I just have to put out the fish net and find them.
Well, that's
So-
a fact, Jack. And I live right here in the Colorado Springs area, and there's still, they used to call this place the Braille Jail, or at least I used to call it that. But it's the Colorado School for the Deaf and Blind. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that I could probably hit those folks up. They're real nice folks down there. I'm just kidding about the Braille Jail thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could round up a bunch of folks to go
Yeah.
ahead and star on this.
I mean, because when I look at that, I've been looking at it like 30 years later, I started looking at it and I said, man, everybody did a fantastic job just being themselves. And this was probably a lot of their first time ever doing this. I said, and
Right.
I was impressed, you know, I said, hey, you guys, you know, when I look at it, I took myself away from it 30 years later. I said, you know, and with me, it's like when the lead actor got himself killed, it really just took the steam out of me. And I shouldn't.
See, and I'm really sad about that too, because he was a
Yeah.
friend of mine. I went to high school with him, and man, he was able to see it one time, and he went to a party, and well,
yeah,
things
he was-
happened, and he was blinded by
Yeah, a stray bullet.
yeah.
So it was just, I don't know. It was just that, and you know, and like, you know, so I did that one because I was gonna get some money and do it again, like even in better quality that you know, because you learn from what you did. And then of course our VP here, I mean, he did an excellent job of editing and stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, I said, hey, this, you know, to my ear, I mean, it was sounding good. I mean, you know, and then the quality because we used all different cameras, wasn't the best, but it showed that it was a good effort. And I'm gonna contact this lady. It's a lady at Salem Media, and they're looking for stuff like that. So I'm gonna contact her and see if we can do this project. But anyway, that's it. Now let's talk a little bit about Tay Anderson.
Okay.
The school board paid about $45,000 to for his campaign, and he got other monies and stuff like that. And there's rumors that they knew about his tendency of how can I say maybe liking underage girls. And okay, I understand. Okay, for some guys, you get out of high school, and some girls, you know, they date the college boys and all that good stuff, and you know, they go to the parties with, and they're in high school and whatever. And I'm thinking like maybe, you know, because he didn't have any brothers around him, or maybe he didn't have any male influences around him. He didn't have any male influences to say, hey, you know, once you get to be about 20, 21, maybe you shouldn't go back as far as I don't know, 16, 15, 14. And I'm thinking like, I hope that this is not a revenge. Maybe he wouldn't do something that the party said for him to do. And so they said, we'll find 62 people that will say that you did something that you didn't do. I hope that didn't happen. And if this did, that, you know, these 62 people, and why can I can understand is why they would be afraid of being deported, because these are kids that were born here. Now, maybe their family members weren't born here, but I just never been in that situation where someone would threaten me and said, well, if you tell on me, I'll counsel your family or get them deported. And this is a sanctuary city. Mayor Hancock has signs all over saying, we love illegals. We don't say illegals, but they say, you know, immigrants. They use the code word immigrants, but they just cut out the word illegal or legal or whatever. And so I just don't know how you wouldn't know that this city is friendly towards you, whether you're illegal or not illegal here in Denver, Colorado, and why they didn't get the word that this is a sanctuary city. So, but no, who knows? We'll see how this turns out Westward has did some stories in it. The Denver Post, well, they were voting in for a while. Some of the channels they were voting for. Then I think it was Channel 4 went out. They had a protest last Thursday at 4:00.
Thursday, right?
Yeah, and that was pretty interesting. So keep up with this story, and we'll see what's going to happen with Tay Anderson. But they should do a better job of vetting these people that are working with young people. And what I understand, the Denver Public School is not doing a good job of protecting their students. And so parents get involved, and maybe this virus thing, getting your kids out of school, has really been an eye opener, because now you know what they're teaching them in school, and the weirdness they're teaching, instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic. And now maybe you understand why your child is leaving school without the skills to survive. They could be a social warrior if that pays any money, but how to survive and thrive in this society. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
A lot of times we'll pick up topics like this one, or like the guide dog story, or just whatever might strike our fancy in current events. Yeah. A lot of other times we will try to hit things that will definitely unite everybody. Oh, yeah. And a lot of that deals with arts, it deals with music, it deals with things like Johnny's friend who does the gardening.
Oh, yeah.
Because through that, you can feed your friends, you can feed your neighbors, you can help out, you can be an integral part of society. And that's the biggest thing, you see, because 90% of the blind community don't work, or 80% or 70%, or who knows, who cares, the bottom line is, Johnny brought up a really good point. There's like 274,000, who knows how many of us there are in the nation. It fluctuates. You can't get an accurate figure. I've heard that there are 50 million of us, that's 1/6 of us in the nation, who are disabled or senior citizens, or whatever, things like this. Anybody who's on Social Security and that kind of thing. I've heard that there's these types of figures out there. It all boils down to, hey, we the people, let's unite. Let's take this thing back. Oh, yeah. Let's get back to what this country was founded on, and that's freedom, and that's liberty. Those are the things that unite us.
Hey, and when everybody give us a thumbs up, share this, and give us some ideas on some topics that you're interested in as well, and we will see you.
Oh, I wanted to plug one quick thing before we split. We got a little bit of time yet.
Go ahead.
We've got a little email letter that you received that you forwarded on over to me. A bunch of shout outs and thanks to some folks here. Looks like this is going to be from let me see what we got here. Huh.
And I send it up to you?
I think so. It's like something entitled Arts Advocacy Updates or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. These, I guess it was like senators or people in the House. They put the bill to support the arts and get some funding in for like local artists and venues here in Colorado. And they would say, like, send a shout out to those individuals for supporting the arts and financially and just, so we want to give a shout out. I know which one you're talking about, which I should have put that in my Word document there.
Well, I guess they had a legislative wrap up last week, and there's a bunch of Senate bills that went through allocating quite a bit of fundage out there. It's like $6 million here, $1.5 million there,
15 million there. Yeah.
50
And-
million here. I mean, it's go ahead.
And I've used some of those. I have one artist, Casey and Friends. He needed to update his guitar and do some things. So it was 2,500. I think I got one for $1,000 for a nonprofit. And then unfortunately, I wanted to get two more for two other blind individuals, but they didn't know how to fill out the W-9. So we may even, when the next one comes out, we're going to teach it. We're going to do it live. I'll show them with, use of IRA and invite, people to come, and I'll show them how to, and then we'll share that with other people so they can apply for these as well. They're not, for the blind, there's grants that were out there for musical artists. And I figured, well, I know how to do it, so I should show everybody else how to do it and not just think like, it's simple and whatever. So
yeah, because apparently what happened is only about 100 odd of these applications got processed. And so all that, a lot of that money that was available originally still has not been allocated. So I would urge people to hit us up at Innervisionfm.com.
Yeah, info
at Innervision.com.
Yeah. And and let us know some topics that you want, and if you'd be interested in that, we'll put you on our email list, and when we do that, we will let you know well in advance. So we can do it that way too. All right. So we're gonna let everybody go since we started early. We started at 53 after 5. So we did our half an hour. All right.
Well, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yeah,
VP
thank you,
of,
Mr. VP.
I enjoyed being. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.